Right now, most men are sleepwalking through life. They wake up tired, they go to work drained, they come home, zone out on a screen, and numb themselves into oblivion. But deep down, they feel it. You feel it. Something's missing. You look in the mirror, and you're not proud of the man staring back at you. You feel weak, defeated, unsure of where you're headed. And then there's that voice in your head, the one telling you that you're wasting your potential, that you're better than this. But most men ignore it. You don't, though. That's why you're here. You're searching for answers, and you're not afraid to face the hard truth. Here's that truth. The constant need for instant gratification is robbing you of everything that makes you a man. When you masturbate, you're not just releasing energy. You're giving up your strength, your focus, and your edge. And don't get it twisted. Society wants you weak. They want you pacified, addicted, and distracted, so you never realize your full potential. But you're here because you know you're meant for more, and you're ready to take back control of your life. Number 1, the mental drain. Most men today are living as shadows of who they're supposed to be. You wake up tired, not because you've been grinding or building something meaningful, but because you've been giving your energy to things that destroy you from the inside out. Every time you sit alone, staring at a screen, giving in to your urges, you're choosing weakness over strength. You're choosing mediocrity over greatness. You're choosing to stay trapped, knowing deep down that you could be so much more. The truth is hard to hear, but it's necessary. Society has lied to you, man. They've sold you this idea that it's okay, that it's normal to indulge in your base instincts. They tell you it's healthy, that it reduces stress, and they mask it as self-care. But let me ask you this, when has it ever made you feel stronger? When has it ever left you feeling proud of yourself as a man? Every time you give in, you feel it, that hollow emptiness, that sinking regret, that whisper in your mind telling you that you're failing yourself. And the worst part, you're doing it to yourself, and you know it. Do you want to know why you feel like life has no spark anymore? Why the days feel dull and the things that used to excite you don't hit the same? It's because you've drained yourself of the very fuel that drives ambition, focus, and passion. Every time you give in, you're feeding your brain a flood of cheap dopamine. Your brain, designed to reward real accomplishments like crushing it at work, hitting new records in the gym, or creating something meaningful, now gets tricked into thinking it's achieved something. But you haven't. All you've done is condition yourself to settle for the bare minimum. You're training yourself to be weak, to accept less, to chase the easiest possible path to temporary satisfaction. Do you ever wonder why you find it so hard to focus on your goals? Why you procrastinate? Why you can't push yourself to the next level? It's because you've taught your brain to associate effort with pain and instant gratification with reward. That's why every goal feels impossible. That's why you quit halfway. That's why you're stuck. And let's talk about how this bleeds into your relationships. Women can sense weakness, whether you realize it or not. They see through you when you walk into a room with slouched shoulders, avoiding eye contact, hiding behind your phone. You can pretend all you want, but women aren't fooled. They're wired to seek strength, dominance, and confidence in a man. But when you've drained yourself, when you're living as a slave to your urges, that energy doesn't exist in you anymore. It's replaced by insecurity, indecisiveness, and self-doubt. You can't fake masculinity. You either have it or you don't. And the moment you give in to that urge, you strip yourself of the very essence of what makes you a man. Think about modern relationships for a second. Do you ever wonder why they feel so fragile? Why it seems like women today have so many options and men are struggling to keep up? It's because most men are playing the game with a weak hand. Women today are bombarded with attention 24/7. Every swipe, every like, Every DM is another man desperate to validate her. And here's the harsh reality. She doesn't respect those men. She doesn't want them. She's amused by them at best and disgusted by them at worst. And when you're indulging in porn and masturbation, you're no different. You're just another guy feeding into her validation while starving yourself of self-respect. When you abstain, when you take control of your urges, everything changes. You stop putting women on a pedestal. You stop seeing them as gods to worship and start seeing them as equals to challenge. You approach them not from a place of neediness, but from a position of strength. You're no longer trying to prove yourself to her because you've already proven yourself to you. And do you know what happens when you do that? She notices. She feels it. That aura of confidence, that self-assuredness. It's magnetic. She wants to be around it, to be part of it, because it's so rare in a world full of weak men. This isn't about impressing women. This is about you. Women are a byproduct, a bonus of the man you become when you take back control. The real prize is the respect you gain for yourself. The real prize is waking up every morning knowing you're not the same man you were yesterday. The real prize is walking into any room, any situation, and knowing you belong there because you've earned it. When you quit, your mind becomes sharper. You start thinking clearer. You stop looking at life through the lens of instant gratification and start playing the long game. And here's the craziest part. You actually start enjoying the struggle, the grind, the climb, the things you used to avoid, like going to the gym, working on your side hustle, or learning a new skill, become your new source of dopamine. That's the power of rewiring your brain. And let's not forget the physical transformation. When you quit, your testosterone levels rise. You feel stronger, more energized, more alive. Your workouts hit harder. Your body starts to respond in ways you didn't think were possible. You wake up feeling ready to attack the day, not because someone else is forcing you to, but because you've built that hunger inside yourself. And that hunger, it's contagious. People notice it. They're drawn to it. They respect it. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who's in control of himself. The one who doesn't let his impulses dictate his actions. The one who chooses discipline over indulgence, strength over weakness, and growth over comfort. That's the man you become when you quit. And that's the man the world needs more of. But here's the part most men don't want to hear. This isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. You're going to feel the discomfort. You're going to feel the pull of your old habits, the urge to give in. But that's where the magic happens. Every time you resist, you're building something inside you that most men will never have. Self-mastery. The ability to control your mind, your body, and your future. The choice is yours. You can keep living the way you are, stuck in a cycle of regret and mediocrity. Or you can take the harder path, the one that leads to the man you know you're supposed to be. Stop giving your power away. Stop settling for less. Take back control, because once you do, everything changes. Number 2, physical transformation. When you drain yourself, you're doing more than just losing a bit of energy. You're throwing away the very essence of what makes you a man. Your testosterone, your vitality, your raw power. It's all evaporating every single time you give in. And it's not just about the immediate loss. It's about the ripple effect it has on your entire life. Every choice you make, every goal you set, every challenge you face, all of it is impacted by the state of your body and your energy. And when you're constantly depleted, you're sabotaging your ability to show up in the world as the strongest, most dominant version of yourself. Let me break this down for you in a way that hits. Testosterone isn't just a hormone. It's your fuel, your fire, your edge. It's the reason why you feel alive, driven, and ready to take on the world. When your testosterone levels are high, you walk differently. You think differently. You carry yourself with a confidence that people notice without you even saying a word. Women feel it. Men respect it. It's the unspoken aura of a man who's in control of himself. But the moment you start draining yourself, that fire begins to dim. You're sending a signal to your body that you don't need to compete, don't need to conquer, don't need to thrive. Your body listens, your testosterone drops, and what's left? A watered-down version of the man you were meant to be. Think about it. How many times have you felt like you've lost your edge? Like you don't have that same drive, that same hunger, that same fire in your gut? That's not just in your head. That's your body reacting to the choices you've been making. Your body is designed to respond to your actions. When you live with discipline, when you push yourself, when you hold back from giving in, your body rewards you. Your testosterone levels rise. Your energy surges. You feel like you can take on anything. But when you choose the easy path, when you indulge in instant gratification, your body gets weaker. It starts to believe that you don't need strength, you don't need ambition, you don't need to fight. And that belief shows up in every area of your life. Let's talk about how this affects your performance, both in the gym and in your everyday life. When you're drained, your workouts suffer. You're not pushing as hard. You're not lifting as heavy. You're not breaking through the plateaus that separate average men from exceptional ones. Why? Because your body doesn't have the fuel it needs to perform at its peak. But when you quit, when you stop giving in, everything changes. You start to feel stronger. You start to move with purpose. Your muscles respond to the effort you're putting in, and you begin to see results that you never thought were possible. And it's not just about the gym. Your physical transformation extends into every part of your life. When you stop draining yourself, you wake up with energy. Not just the kind of energy that gets you through the day, but the kind of energy that makes you excited to attack your goals. You're not dragging yourself out of bed anymore. You're not hitting snooze, hoping for 5 more minutes of rest that never makes you feel better. You're jumping out of bed, ready to dominate the day. That's what happens when your body is filled with the testosterone and vitality it was designed to have. This isn't just about you. This is about how the world sees you. Because like it or not, people judge you based on the energy you bring into a room. When you're drained, people can feel it. They can sense that something's off. Your handshake isn't as firm. Your eye contact isn't as strong. Your presence isn't as commanding. And women notice it even more. They're wired to pick up on these things. They're drawn to strength, to confidence, to dominance. And when you're drained, you can't fake those things. You can try to act confident, but it won't work. She'll see through it. She'll feel the lack of energy, the lack of drive, the lack of power. And she won't respect it. But when you quit, everything shifts. You walk into a room and people notice. You're not trying to prove anything, but your presence speaks for itself. Women are drawn to you, not because of what you say or do, but because of who you are. A man who's in control, a man who respects himself enough to hold back from indulgence. A man who chooses strength over weakness every single day. That's the kind of man who commands attention without saying a word. When you stop draining yourself, your body starts to rebuild in ways you didn't think were possible. Your focus improves. Your mind becomes sharper. You start to see things clearly, the opportunities, the challenges, the path forward. And when you combine that clarity with the physical energy that comes from rising testosterone levels, you become unstoppable. You're no longer held back by doubt, fatigue, or hesitation. You move through the world with purpose, with direction, with power. And that power isn't just for you, it's for the people around you. When you show up as your strongest self, you inspire others to do the same. your friends, your family, your co-workers. They see the change in you. They feel the energy you bring to every interaction. You become a leader, someone people look up to, someone people want to follow. And all of that starts with one choice, the choice to stop draining yourself and start building yourself instead. But let me warn you, this path isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. It's going to test you. You're going to feel the pull of your old habits, the temptation to give in, the voice in your head telling you it doesn't matter, but it does matter. Every choice you make matters. Every time you resist, you're building a foundation of strength that most men will never have. You're creating a version of yourself that stands out in a world full of mediocrity. So ask yourself, what kind of man do you want to be? Do you want to be the guy who settles for less, who hides behind excuses, who lives in the shadow of his own potential? Or do you want to be the guy who rises above, who takes control, who earns the respect of everyone around him, including himself? The choice is yours. But remember, every moment you spend giving in is a moment you're stealing from your future. Stop robbing yourself. Start building yourself. Because when you do, the transformation isn't just physical. It's everything. It's your mind, your body, your relationships, your entire life. And that's a transformation worth fighting for. Number 3, emotional resilience. When you give in to your impulses, you're not just draining your energy. You're breaking something far more important, your spirit. Every time you indulge, you're teaching yourself that you can't handle discomfort, that you need an easy escape, that you're too weak to face your own challenges head-on. That's the harsh truth. But here's what makes it worse. This mindset doesn't just stay in the moment. It creeps into every corner of your life, poisoning your relationships, your self-respect, and your ability to achieve anything meaningful. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Think about your relationships, especially with women. You want respect, you want connection, you want desire. But how can you expect those things from anyone else when you don't respect yourself? When you're constantly chasing temporary highs, you're showing the world that you don't value your own potential. Women notice it. They can see when a man is ruled by his impulses, and they can feel when a man is in control. It's not something you can fake. It's a deep, primal instinct that they pick up on without even thinking about it. And when they sense weakness, their respect for you disappears. Modern relationships are a minefield for men. Everywhere you look, women are bombarded with validation. Social media, dating apps, constant attention, it's endless. The average woman today has more options than ever before, and most men are lining up to compete for her attention. But here's what nobody tells you. The men who win aren't the ones who try the hardest. They're not the guys liking every photo, sending endless messages, or bending over backward to impress her. The men who win are the ones who stand out by not competing at all. They're the ones who focus on themselves, who don't chase, who don't need her validation because they've already validated themselves. When you stop giving in to your impulses, everything about you changes. You start to carry yourself differently. You stop seeing women as the goal and start seeing them as a part of the bigger picture. And this shift is massive. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't need them. It's not about being rude or dismissive. It's about having a sense of purpose that's bigger than any relationship. When you're focused on building yourself, when you're working on your mission, women feel it. They respect it. They're intrigued by it. And that's because deep down, they want to be with a man who's going somewhere, not a man who's waiting around for someone to save him. But it's not just about attraction. It's about how you handle everything in life. When you stop chasing instant gratification, you start to develop something that's becoming rare in today's world: resilience. The ability to endure, to push through discomfort, to stay focused even when things get hard. This isn't just a nice-to-have skill. This is the foundation of success in every area of your life. Think about the most successful men you admire. Do you think they got there by giving in every time something got tough? No. They built their strength by choosing the harder path, by facing challenges head-on, by refusing to quit when others would have. The same goes for relationships. Real connection doesn't come from chasing or begging for someone's attention. It comes from being strong enough to stand on your own and letting people be drawn to you naturally. When you quit chasing instant gratification, you stop seeking approval. You stop needing someone else to make you feel whole. And ironically, that's when you become the kind of man who attracts respect, admiration, and loyalty from the right people. Women don't want a man who's desperate for their attention. They want a man who's confident enough to walk away if he's not respected. Modern female psychology plays a huge role here. Women are biologically wired to seek security, strength, and leadership in a partner. In today's world, that doesn't mean physical security, it means emotional and mental stability. A man who can handle himself. A man who isn't shaken by her moods, her tests, or her challenges. And let's be clear, women will test you. It's not because they're trying to tear you down. It's because they need to know you're strong enough to handle the ups and downs of life. If you crumble under pressure, if you let your emotions control you, she won't feel safe with you. She won't respect you. And without respect, there's no attraction, no connection, no relationship. When you stop giving in to your impulses, you become unshakable. You stop reacting to every little thing. You stop letting external circumstances dictate your mood, your actions, or your self-worth. You start operating from a place of internal strength, and that changes everything. Arguments don't rattle you. Challenges don't overwhelm you. Rejection doesn't faze you. You become the kind of man who can handle whatever life throws at him without breaking a sweat. And that's exactly the kind of man women are drawn to. But let's take it deeper. This isn't just about how women see you, it's about how you see yourself. Every time you resist the urge to give in, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than your impulses. You're building a sense of pride and self-respect that can't be shaken by anyone or anything. You're showing yourself that you have what it takes to stay disciplined, to stay focused, to stay in control. And that's a feeling that no one can take away from you. This isn't easy. You're going to face moments when the temptation feels overwhelming. When you're tired, stressed, or bored, and that old habit starts calling your name. But those moments are where the growth happens. Every time you choose to hold back, every time you choose to stay strong, you're rewiring your brain. You're teaching yourself that you don't need the easy escape, that you're capable of facing discomfort and coming out stronger on the other side. And here's the kicker, this strength doesn't just stay with you, it spreads. When you show up as your strongest self, you inspire the people around you to do the same. Your friends, your family, your co-workers, they see the change in you and it pushes them to level up too. You become a leader, someone others look up to, someone others want to follow. And all of this starts with one simple choice. The choice to stop chasing instant gratification and start building real strength instead. Number 4, the shift in perception. When you stop chasing instant gratification, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see the world for what it really is, not the illusion you've been sold. Everything you thought you understood about yourself, about women, about relationships, and about society gets stripped away. You start seeing the truth, the hard truth, and it's not pretty. But it's exactly what you need to wake up and take back control. The truth is this: society is designed to keep you weak. Every ad you see, every algorithm you scroll through, every trend you're told to follow is crafted with one purpose in mind: to control you, to keep you distracted, to keep you consuming, to keep you docile. Why? Because a weak, distracted man is easy to manipulate. He doesn't question the system. He doesn't challenge the status quo. He just goes through the motions, working to make someone else rich, spending his money on things he doesn't need, chasing highs that will never satisfy him. And worst of all, he thinks that's normal. But the moment you stop giving in, the moment you start living with intention, you step outside of that system. You stop playing the game they've rigged against you, and you start creating your own rules. You begin to realize just how much you've been held back by your own choices. Every time you've settled for an easy escape, every time you've avoided discomfort, you've been chaining yourself to a life of mediocrity. But now you're done with that. Now you're ready to see things as they are. Let's talk about women. Modern relationships are more complicated than ever, but at the core, they're still governed by the same basic principles. Women are biologically wired to seek strength, stability, and leadership in a man. They're drawn to men who can weather storms without flinching, who can stand tall no matter what life throws at them. But what do you think happens when you've spent years indulging in weakness? When you've allowed yourself to be ruled by your impulses, you become exactly what women are hardwired to avoid. You become the man who can't be trusted to handle pressure, the man who crumbles at the first sign of struggle, the man who needs her validation to feel whole. And do you know what that does to her respect for you? It destroys it. Respect is the foundation of attraction. Without it, there's nothing. You can look good, make good money, and have all the right words, but if she doesn't respect you, it's over. She may entertain you for a while, but deep down, she'll never truly be drawn to you. And the moment you stop giving in to your urges, you start rebuilding that respect, not just from women, but from yourself. You begin to carry yourself differently. Your energy shifts. You walk with purpose, you speak with confidence, and you stop seeking approval because you don't need it anymore. You've given it to yourself. And that's the shift women notice. They're not drawn to your words, they're drawn to your presence. It's not about pretending to be confident, it's about being confident. When you've spent weeks, months, even years refusing to give in to your base instincts, you develop a strength that radiates in everything you do. You stop being affected by petty things. You stop reacting emotionally to every little challenge. You stop trying to please everyone. And do you know what that makes you? It makes you rare. It makes you the kind of man who stands out in a world full of desperate, distracted, and directionless men. But here's where it gets even more powerful. When you shift your perception, you stop viewing women as the prize. You stop seeing them as the goal you need to achieve to feel successful. Instead, you start seeing them as part of your life's journey, not the destination. This changes everything. Women can sense when a man is chasing them out of desperation. They can feel when he's putting her on a pedestal, making her the center of his world. And it repels them. They don't want to be your everything. They want to join a man who already has everything going for him. A man with purpose, direction, and ambition. That's what this shift gives you. Purpose. When you stop wasting your energy, you start channeling it into things that matter. You focus on your goals, your growth, your mission. You stop asking, what can I do to impress her? And start asking, what can I do to impress myself? And the irony is, the moment you stop chasing women, they start chasing you, because they see a man who doesn't need them. A man who is complete on his own, a man who isn't afraid to walk away if he's not respected. But this shift isn't just about relationships. It's about everything. You start seeing through the lies you've been told your whole life. You stop buying into the idea that you need to fit into some mold to be successful. You stop caring about what other people think. You stop wasting time on things that don't move you forward. And you start focusing on what truly matters: your health, your finances, your skills, your legacy. You start living for yourself, not for anyone else's approval. And let's talk about approval. Most men spend their entire lives seeking it. From their parents, their peers, their bosses, their partners. They're constantly looking for someone to tell them they're good enough. But do you know what happens when you stop? When you stop seeking approval and start giving it to yourself? You become unstoppable. You stop caring about the opinions of people who don't matter. You stop letting fear dictate your decisions. You stop holding yourself back because you're afraid of what others might think. And that freedom, that's the ultimate power. This shift in perception changes your entire approach to life. You stop playing small. You stop making excuses. You stop settling for anything less than what you deserve. And you start taking ownership of everything. Your choices, your actions, your outcomes, they're all yours. You stop blaming others for your situation, and you start doing what it takes to change it. Because you finally understand that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. It's up to you to build it. And that's what this is all about. Building, growing, becoming. Every time you resist the urge to give in, every time you choose discipline over indulgence, every time you push yourself to do what's hard instead of what's easy, you're building something incredible. You're building a man who can handle anything. A man who doesn't fold under pressure. A man who commands respect without saying a word. And that man, that's the man you were always meant to be. This isn't just a shift in perception, it's a shift in identity. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of your destiny. You stop looking at life as something that happens to you and start looking at it as something you shape with every decision you make. And that realization, that's the beginning of everything. It's the moment you take back control. It's the moment you become unstoppable. It's the moment you finally start living. By the time you finish this video, you'll have a choice. You can go back to the same habits that have been holding you back, or you can take the first step toward becoming the man you were meant to be. Quitting isn't easy. It hurts. It challenges everything you've been conditioned to believe. But you're different. You're not like most men. You're ready to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Comment below, "I'm in control." Subscribe to this channel, not just because it supports the channel, but because it makes this message accessible to more men who need to hear this the most.